We are happy to welcome back our Meghan McCain.
I want to say one thing about him that was not picked up really, because as a candidate, he said, those who think we're powerless to do anything about the greenhouse effect are forgetting about the White House effect. And then he signed into law the Clean Air Act Amendment of 1990, one of the most sweeping environmental statutes ever. This president that we have now is trying to unravel everything that he did and Obama did. And if I ever become a one-issue voter, it will be about pollution and the greenhouse effect and
Could
the
we
fact
focus
that
on the president, please? I don't want to talk about Trump
Well,
when we're in the moment of we're honoring a great president who's passed.
Please. I want to talk about
we're honoring, but I'm not interested in your one issue.
I don't care what you're interested in. I'm talking.
Well, I don't care what you're interested in
We'll
either.
be right back.
Okay. This is a hardline issue for people who live in border states. Many friends of mine, this is the #1 and only issue. And if we sit here and act like there isn't a crisis, that it's crazy people living in border states that think that there's a crisis, a winning ticket for Trump.
Like I just said, this guy who's coming in wants to help those countries. That's the way to solve the problem. Keep them there happy or whatever. Solvent, give them a house, give them food, help them, help their children.
Give a Nicaraguan
stop the
house.
crime rates.
Well, we've had a bunch of liberal guests who do not want to send in aid
I
at
listen
all.
to you. Let me just finish.
Yeah, part of your job is to listen to me.
Okay, so
all I'm
make
saying
Abby
is
and I uncomfortable.
Check the platform, not the person.
I am John
Look at
McCain's
the
daughter.
policy.
I am not someone who sits here and is okay with racism
And
in
I
any
am
way
Gino
whatsoever.
Occhio's daughter. He's a racist.
I'm just saying, I think...
And I'm Whoopi Goldberg, and we'll be right back. Rochelle Ritchie claims that Twitter ignored her when she flagged the pipe bomb suspect Cesar Sayak's threatening tweets. So really, how much responsibility do they have? And does the media have to take here?
The media should stop covering those rallies of his. That's my one recommendation. It just empowers him more.
Yeah. That seems like a logical response to that question. I mean, come on, we're talking about social media's impact, and we jump to Trump's rally.
I jump wherever I damn please, okay? Hey, that's twice.
I would give up anything, my computer, my phones, whatever, and my records of where I was and any place. And he was, from the beginning, I think that was one of the first things that I believe you said, I don't remember, but like that the fact that he wasn't being as forthcoming as necessarily I would be if I were in that situation.
He didn't file a police report as quickly.
I'm still talking, thank you. And then also, I always speak last.
What about Senator Amy Klobuchar? Can she dance and sing at the same time? Because she kicked off her presidential campaign in the middle of a blizzard. And Trump mocked her.
This is real.
Can I get through this, please? Tweeting it was bad timing since she's pledging to fight global warming.
She has a reputation for being a pretty tough woman, for having not the best temperament, and he has a reputation for not having the best temperament, and maybe he's met his match.
That's what the country needs. We just need to slide to the bottom and just keep bullying each other. That's what this country needs.
Can I say something now? Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, you may now.
I have permission to speak now on Amy Klobuchar. We're all good. Okay, 2 quick things. #1, I have friends who are at her now. No, by all means, keep going, Joy.
No, if you're going to have a hissy fit, we can't continue.
But being a sacrificial Republican every day,
well,
I'm just trying to...
Here's the thing.
Don't feel bad for me, bitch. I'm paid to do this, okay? I agree. You come for one of us. You come for all of us at this table, hands down. I love you, Joy. You know that. Thanks for looking up when I say that. Really appreciate it. You know what? I'm done, actually. He was Trump's henchman for a really long time.
He knows what he had to have known.
And isn't that why people hire lawyers, so it can be sort of that person in between the crimes that are possibly being committed? And so it's the lawyer that then gets in trouble, not the person.
Well, no, you don't hire a lawyer so the lawyer can commit crimes on your behalf.
No, I'm just saying if in Trump's
I don't think
case,
that's what she said.
That's not what I'm saying, just to be clear.
She's not stupid, that's not what she said.
No, I'm just saying, oftentimes, if you are wanting to get away with things.
But do you know what helps me when I feel sorry for myself is running with veterans who have lost limbs for our country, seeing people and homeless people that have much less than me. There are ways to make yourself feel better.
It is because the American people got emotional and showed their heart and their anger and their frustration.
That's right.
That this is getting
It's all
overturned.
about feelings.
If we just sat there reading statistics,
I don't believe
it would not have been
I don't believe
overturned.
I'm sitting and reading statistics.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm
Okay.
talking about the American people in general. She's taking up this like valuable space, and
That
this
is
is
true.
so,
Not for
so
long.
serious.
Not for long.
That's
You know,
true.
this is. I mean, we have got to get rid of Trump.
I didn't put her on the stage. I'm just reacting.
No, I'm
to
not
what was
talking
on
about
the
you. I'm talking to
stage.
her.
And I do want to point out, you can't ask people to do something you wouldn't do. Because you talked, not you, baby.
Oh, okay.
Not you.
I'd like to know when these Republicans, not you. Meghan, you're nodding your head. You agree?
I don't know what to say
Meghan
about
has no
this.
interest
I don't
in
care. So sorry. The worst part. Thank you. I'm so sorry. The hands down worst part about this job by far, and it was one of the topics we were going to do, is that I cannot fake anything. You always know how I feel. If I'm interested, I will be very engaged. If I'm bored, I'm sitting here like, okay, like she's holding my hand.
but-
Fascinating, scintillating morning conversation for everyone.
Listen, Abby said in the last segment.
You fake it better than I do, Abby. Thank you.
No, I
mean,
said-
I'm so bored
I
by
said-
it.
I
Abby
don't
said
judge
in the
anybody.
last.
You're bored by love?
I think their relationship is their own, and I'm much more interested in what we were talking about in the last
Okay,
segment.
fine. Well, one of the things that was said in the last segment is that
I'm sorry, I
she's sick.
should be
Would
able
you
to
let me
fake
finish
it better.
the sentence? You,
I should. I'm sorry.
Leave your bedroom out of this.
No, I'm actually.
She's kidding.
It's a joke, Meghan.
George,
Yeah,
we never get any insight
Hilarious.
from Meghan.
John Kasich is not a conservative. John Kasich is in it for himself. And
I'm
but
just
for
saying
me,
that he could run as a Republican moderate. He could.
Yes,
Whoopi,
and
Whoopi,
ma'am, are you a
jump in here,
Democrat?
Whoopi.
Because this is a Democrat's
Let
pipe
Whoopi
dream.
talk.
It would cost $93 trillion, or to every person in this room, $600,000 per each of your households. Do you think that plan, thank you, ma'am, is practical? You and I agree politically on probably nothing. I'm just, and instead of, thank you from one person clapping for me, I don't like it. I don't like the sexualization of our culture, but I think it's where the times we're living in. And thank you, sir, for shaking your head. And some of these people, I'm sorry, it doesn't take a political scientist. Thank you, ma'am, for nodding with me. What's the most illegal thing about what we found out today?
Obstruction of justice,
but it's that
perjury,
Michael Cohen
suborning
was told to
perjury.
lie by
That
our
the
president.
president- yeah.
Right.
Just
That's
keep
right.
it simple for
That
people.
and the fact that we
Thank
still.
you for clapping, ma'am. See, not everyone's following this. It's very
No, but that is
complicated.
You don't feel safe. You don't feel safe sending
I
your
feel
kids
safe
to
in my
school.
home.
You don't feel safe
got
going to the
guns.
grocery store, going to the movies, going to work. And I
Thank
think
you
that's
for
what's
laughing,
sad.
ma'am. You got to get out there and win over the voters you lost in the
Republicans
middle
gonna
of the
do?
country.
The question is, what are Republicans going
Thank
to
you
do
for
about
clapping,
this
whoever
behavior?
that is.
What are
By the way, my one fan, ma'am, thank you
What is
so
the
much.
Republican Party?
3 over there.
I think the
Thank
better
you.
question.
I would like to hear from the actors right now who are being accused of having, you know, whatever, Mueller, whomever, who has to do with present times and the present that we're living in more than the past.
Well, I will say with this,
Oh, thank you. That's never happened. Thank you. Oh, hi. That's my friend. Sorry, of course you're clapping. So sorry. Thank you. And it is not that long ago that Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan prayed together after Ronald Reagan was shot. And I am just begging the American public and our politicians to go back to that moment. And we should start here on this
But
show
don't you
doing
think it ended when they said that
Please stop.
I think Obama did it with
But I
complete
also think
class.
it's apparent. Let me finish.
that's what we need to be talking about, not that Al Gore sold something or
Leo
that Leo is
DiCaprio.
buying.
I'm sorry.
This is about
so
climate
ridiculous.
change.
Please stop clapping so I can finish.
That will
What
take
about his
us down.
supporters, the people in that room at that
Well,
rally?
we all have accountability for our actions, and everyone who shouted to send them back is responsible for that as well.
People in that rally that did it. I agree. But there were
if I see you rolling down the street in the car, I'm supposed to take you to jail. That's arrestable.
It does-
it's
it
illegal,
does
but I just want to know the illegal activity that you're speaking of. I'll wait till everyone's done applauding. I don't want to be like the crappy politicians on this show today.
Well, then
I don't want to do
let's
that.
get back
I want us to
DACA,
come together.
Because I remember when
I don't. Do you want us
Well,
to
let's-
be like
let's-
what's
let's
going
get
on
back
in the
to DACA.
government?
Okay, everybody
Because-
stop for 1 second. 1 second.
You're
But I
being
want to
nice.
ask you a question. I'm not being nice. I
When
want
you
to ask
say
you a
I hate him,
question.
you're being nice.
I want to ask you a question. Let's not get a cheap applause line because I would rather not be
Do
like the
whatever you want,
politicians
okay?
in
The audience
Congress.
can do what they want. Thank you.
Maybe I should just stand here and you can throw tomatoes at the Republican instead
So
of
what's the
just trying to
what's the
ask
question?
you.
What's the question, baby?
Do
Go ahead.
Dem-
If you're a millennial, clap if you would send a picture, naked picture to somebody. Yeah.
They're not going to admit it
Not
here.
the guys.
Only one.
Really? Only one?
Just the women.
Well, no one wants to
Well, they're on national TV, and there's a guy anyway.
But in sincerity,
Hand over your phones, people. I want to see what's on there.
don't shame our crowd. Andy asked me when he could greet me for my birthday, and I begged him to ask my all-time favorite top housewife to make a stop on her world tour. Right here on The View, here to perform expensive. Please welcome the great
Erika Jane!
Limited edition, gotta buy it with no trial. Purchase like a lion, knock 'em out like Tyson. Everybody knows that I'm $1 million diamond. It's expensive to be Look in the kitchen, cup of bread. That's just who I be. It's expensive to be me.
No worries.
My number one fear in life in general, above all things, is getting the Ebola virus, and above all else.
The Ebola virus?
It is my biggest fear in the entire world.
Do they have that here?
Well, I am a horror movie fan. I have a friend. One of my friends wrote the movie Sinister. Go see it; it's amazing. I have another friend who's a horror movie director. I just have to ask, what was it like working with Waylon?
Waylon
Biggest
and I
memory.
were like,
I'm
no,
friends with his son, Shooter. The piece only focuses on Leanne Tweeden, who everyone knows, at least I think during the time that she's a friend of mine.
Right. She used to be very close to Adam Kissinger, a Republican. They were both combat veterans. That
He's also a
relationship
friend
has-
of mine, by the way.
Okay, and he's a friend of mine too.
For me, you know, I've always been curvy
Thank you,
also.
ma'am.
I've got big boobs. I got a big
With
butt.
all due respect, you're not curvy like
you're
I
not,
am.
No, you're not.
I mean, with all due
Yeah,
respect,
no.
no. This is my problem too.
But
I
that's
am-
not
but
necessarily
I am-
true because
I am
I'm a
plus size.
double D. You're
But
a
I'm
plus size
plus-size
girl,
woman.
but I'm also
Double D.
a bigger busted
my
woman.
ex.
And
Okay, you-
but I'm talking about. I think women should wear what they want to wear.
Specially made.
I
It's a
think
whole
women should
different
wear what they
thing.
want to wear.
Yeah.
But
One of my favorite people is from Kentucky. She passed away, unfortunately. Rosemary Clooney.
oh yeah.
Not all
Okay.
Kentuckians are on Mitch McConnell's. And you know,
dead.
some of the I know she is.
But
So.
ha-
21-year-old University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson thought she was getting into her Uber that she had called, but it wasn't. And hours later, she was found dead. So
My grandma always said nothing good happens after midnight. I think if you are, hey, grandmas have some great advice, and it's still to this day, travel together. If it's
I've had a
late
lot
at
of really
night.
good things happen after
Yeah.
midnight, for whatever it's
Yeah.
worth.
I think in this case, though, you want.
some royal watchers are, I guess, a little freaked out because Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, announced that they have a little bundle on the way.
I feel like there's a bunch of people that took bare arms in 1776, so I don't have to give a crap about the royals. And for those of you out there who are all American and don't care, I'm right there with you. I don't care at all.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. But since these are people who are actually friends of mine.
Oh, you know what?
And
She's
they
an
are our
American.
ally.
I
Yeah,
take
she
that back.
is
She's an American.
yes, she
I'm
is.
sorry. She's an American.
All right.
I take it back. I take it back.
We said it with love. We'll be right back.
I'm sorry. I forgot that.
All right, Megan, what about you? Anything
This
that
is terrible, but my family's so American in the sense that, like, my grandfather, my great-grandfather were both four-star admirals in the Navy. There's a general, John McCain, that fought in the Revolution with George Washington.
Yeah.
So I know that, like, we're, like, American through and through. So I don't even think of myself as anything other than American, which I was telling someone that last night, and they thought it was a little weird. So
But the biggest surprises is you're 1% Native American Andean.
but really?
Really? Last surprise is 1% Senegal.
Oh, amazing.
So
Okay.
African.
Wow.
1%
Wonderful.
African.
African.
I mean, that shouldn't be that surprising, really. I mean, they say that's like where we're all from
Yeah, I
originally,
mean,
where the birth of mankind started. So. But can you get to the American part? Not that that's not all
migration.
wonderful, but yeah. What bothers me the most is that isolationism is the trend right now in the United States, specifically within the Republican Party, which is bizarre to me because as conservatives, we should believe in an America first agenda, especially globally. We fight for the little guy. We fight against human rights violations.
If somebody commits a serious crime, sexual assault, murder, they're going to be punished. They may be in jail for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, their whole lives. That's what happens when you commit a serious crime. But I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people.
What Bernie Sanders said is going to be turned into a clip that will be. It upset me this morning.
How do you feel about the fact that people in Vermont are allowed to vote?
Abby and I didn't have brothers that served multiple times, and I didn't watch my brother deploy when he was 19 to fight this crap. To have them come here and give the right to vote.
Shut up, Meg.
John Kelly, when he disparaged Congresswoman Frederica Wilson, lied about her, and then refused to apologize, I thought that didn't look good on his reputation. He endorsed the controversial and short-lived policy of separating children from their immigrant parents in an effort to deter illegal
If you want to talk
crossings.
about children, he gave a child for our freedom. His son died in combat.
He defended wife
if you want to
abuser
talk about
Robert
children,
Porter. He called Robert E. Lee honorable and said the Civil War was due to a lack of compromise. So when I look at all of the things that he did during the administration, that's what I will remember him for. I'm not saying everyone, but that's what I will remember him for, especially when he disparaged a congresswoman, lied about her, and then refused to apologize.
I just think it's weird to be clapping. Whatever you think about his politics, he lost a son in combat for freedom. And again, clapping in that way, again, your call, everyone can interpret him differently. I do think there are some things that precede politics, and I think service and being in the military and losing a son and being part of a Gold Star family is one of those things.
But
I agree with the turnover rate.
You can be both things at the same time.
I have a hard time clapping for
Well,
him
they're
in
clapping.
general.
Can they not?
Everyone can do whatever they want. You can do whatever you want. I'm saying for me, it makes me uncomfortable. I also want to say that Trump's turnover rate, yes, is high, 62%.
Right.
My father's, again, it's not always about my father, but I joke that veterans and veterans issues is the one thing all the ladies of The View always come together on. I had a great time. This Netflix show is so good. It's so wonderful. It makes you feel really patriotic.
Did you ever think of
it's such a
joining
good
the
time.
Army or the Marines or something?
You know,
yourself?
people ask me this all the time. I probably should have. I didn't. I like miraculously somehow got into Colombia, but all the men in my family are all currently active serving. And
Yeah, you're the
there's
only
15 deployments. Anybody that knows me knows I can be a little reactive, and I think I would have probably gone pretty like Arizona on them. I'm so excited you guys are here. I feel like I know you, even though I don't. We're all from Arizona. Bree, you and I use the same wedding planner.
That's nuts.
In Sedona. We both got married in Sedona. Jim at Showstoppers.
Yes.
We have a mutual friend, Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
WWE, friend of mine. But we have the most important thing in common of all things. We're both from Phoenix.
Arizona.
Right? Ride hard for Arizona. What is your favorite thing about being from Arizona? And I asked to ask this question.
I love Arizona.
Thank you.
Because Arizona is so cool and it looks like Mars.
Yes, it does.
Sedona is the coolest place in the world.
Yes, it is.
And actually, you feel like a Martian when you're there because
Yes, you do.
it looks like Mars.
Thank you for answering that question for me. I just always want some people from Arizona to know that we love and respect them.
Yeah.
I had a big crush on you growing up because he's from Arizona as well.
All right.
And I actually met you when I was 14 at the Biltmore Esplanade with some friends of mine when we were at the movies, and you were very nice to us, and you said
great.
hello.
Great guy
So there you go.
syndrome.
Arizona.
Yeah.
No, I'm from AZ, so I always go to all those malls and hang out and see everybody. It's great, though.
Yes.
That's nice. I like when the kids say hi. It's fun.
Well, it's like, oh, you know me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
no, yeah, I'm always shocked. I am. I just, it's like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Well, and there's, you know, Arizona pride. Scottsdale's in the house. We got some people from Scottsdale. When Ari went on the show and desecrated our state's reputation by dumping a woman on live television. Yeah, I'm still angry about that, Ari. By the way, ever since, remember he came on here and was holding hands with the lady? And I can't stand him. And ever since, and I made our state look bad. Like all men from Scottsdale are bad. So ever since that happened, I've kind of been done with The Bachelor. And Colton, though, I was talking to my 21-year-old niece, Rebecca, last night, who's obsessed with the show as well. Colton follows follows me on Twitter, and I don't really know why, because he doesn't follow a lot of people
Yeah,
on
we're
Twitter.
gonna have to clear this
so
up.
all of a sudden, I'm a big fan of Colton's, and thank you for following me on Twitter, and I'm really excited
But
to hear
when
what he has
does a
to say.
Lothario... Shall I tell them about the states that you go
Sure.
through? He goes through the entire map of the United States, state by state.
What do you say about Arizona?
Tell them what you said about Arizona.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All sand and no beach. That's a litter box.
That was funny.
That's funny.
All right, what about Utah, my home state?
He also said...
Excuse me.
He also
it's
said...
Phoenix. I'm sorry. I gotta defend this right now. Phoenix is
You
the
asked me to
fastest growing city. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
But it's got a lot of sand.
Thank you very much.
Listen, I'm a comedian.
Do me a favor.
Everything I say is me.
Anytime. So at Meghan's _cactus is an actual thing now because I love my cactus. And my mother has gotten in on it, and she's living for it. And she said, quote, these are my grand cactus children to Meghan's cactus. If you drink your water and stay in the sun, you'll grow big and strong like your cousins. So anyone who doesn't have a kid or a dog, you no longer need to feel bad because you got a cactus.
You see, it's like,
that's all you need.
You just made Colin's point. Arizona's like a litter box, and that's like your cat.
Oh, you're not gonna let that one
Okay,
down.
All right, it's not nasty. Like, this is fun.
I love Arizona.
I don't think a cactus should count, though.
Oh, I think it's
All right.
I think it's
Paradise. It's a living thing.
So if you want to be shamed for not having kids or dogs or chickens, come to the show, and then you can get a cactus and make an account instead.
Because cactus, they're like,
I'm gonna follow it.
okay,
What
Jess-
is it again? Tell her again. Tell him.
Let me
No,
tell you
it's fine.
something.
I'm done with the thing. It's supposed to be funny.
At Golden George.
Megan's cactus is gaining ground with 7,586.
It's Meghan's _cactus, but I guess it's just a litter box cactus. So
All right, calm down.
Stand up for your cactus, Meghan. Cactus can actually be
I
a
actually
real.
feel like shamed over my cactus right now. So
Don't take it.
eat cactus.
But people eat cactus, and I grew up going to Arizona.
In Mexico, they're called nopalitos.
I ride so hard for Arizona, and like I love it so much, and it's been called a litter box, and cactuses aren't real plants. Everyone in Arizona and desert areas, Nevada, New Mexico, I got you. My senator, Kristen Sinema, had a little message for us.
Hey, Megan, it's Kirsten from Arizona. I heard that you had a little debate on the show about the merits of the great state 48, and I just wanted to send my 2 cents in. So eat your heart out, America.
That's good. Senator Sinema, she was newly elected. She's a Democrat. She's a really interesting politician, and she made that video because despite politics, Arizona chicks ride hard for our state. It's beautiful. Please stop calling it a litter box.
Explain. Colin Quinn was on the other
And then
day.
it was repeated.
Colin has a
by
show
some
at the
of our
Minetta
hosts.
Lane, I'll give him a plug,
Right.
called Red State, Blue State. And
Right.
one of the things he does is he talks about each state with a joke, because he's a
Right.
comedian.
No, but then it was repeated by non-comedians, and also the big criticism of New York was SantaCon.
So the joke was, when you got to Arizona,
Right.
basically it's sand without a beach. That's a litter box.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty funny joke.
How would you feel if I called Miami a litter
he
box?
also said another state, which I won't even repeat, had a Me Too moment with sheep, okay? That's even worse.
Okay, can we just say that our thank you to Senator Sinema, please?
For that nice little ad for Arizona, yes.
Adi, I'm so excited you're here because we're both from Phoenix. We went to the same high school. I was 2 years older than you. 2 years above her. Xavier, what's up? Woo! 2 chicks on mainstream TV.
Can I just say something? As the princess of Arizona, there is a crisis at the border, and the border is right up in my Arizona, which was founded on sunburnt women selling turquoise jewelry, not rando Mexicans. And that's not racist because my makeup artist is gay.
Well, in a certain way, I have to say, it was a pleasure.
I think the House will subpoena him, and then they will investigate, and then he'll testify in front of the House, and we'll know
I love talking in hypotheticals.
But what really makes me
pause?
pause...
living in hypotheticals in life in general. I'm sorry, I don't like working in hypotheticals. I am sort of sick of living in hypotheticals. My favorite game that I like to play, or one of them, is hypothetical election scenarios. What I also found fascinating at the very, very, very bottom, only 25% of Americans are comfortable with a socialist becoming president.
How many?
So 25%, that's it.
Well,
And
when
like I said,
they realize what
87%.
that means, they'll get come
Please,
around.
people are smart. Okay? So I'm
am
just
I.
saying, do you know what's helping Pete Buttigieg? So am I. So am I.
But there's a difference between
disagree.
socialist and democratic.
You disagree that I'm smart?
No, I disagree with the idea that socialism is a bad thing in the way they're describing it.
Democratic socialism.
The way they describe it makes it sound like we're all going to be in Venezuela. That's not what it is.
That's it. I mean,
well, voters
we
will
have no more
decide.
time.
2020.
It's so this
Some
is
other
so
day
ridiculous.
we'll discuss it.
I
But
miss
today,
Whoopi when she's not here. I mean, I'm just trying to explain to you the other side and why he's a great candidate and why democratic socialists could be leading you towards the path towards Trump getting reelected. But instead, I'm told that I don't understand what democratic socialism is. I assure you, Joy, I do. I can't get behind any of these Democrats right now from what I've seen so far, and we don't know who the nominee is.
But you seem
I'm a
worried about
hardcore-
the Democrats. You
no,
often
I think
bring that up.
I think that
And you like Joe Biden.
impeachment. Everyone knows I like Joe Biden. I mean, look at my Instagram. He helped me through my father's cancer. Everyone knows that.
According to him, that those allegations were part of his personality, the way Biden has been able to get out of those accusations.
But I wouldn't
in a
compare his
similar way.
allegations to Biden.
Well, they disappeared the minute he resigned. That was the end of them.
Yeah.
It's just suspicious in itself. But Biden has been accused of being too touchy-feely, and Franken says he is too. And I'm here to say
He's
that
accused of
has to
kissing
stop
her
on both sides. That has to
kissing her
stop.
without
But this is the same thing that Biden says, and you're okay with that.
No, no woman that I'm aware of has accused Joe Biden of kissing her without him, like forcing himself kissing her.
Out of nowhere, I feel Joe Biden put his hands on my shoulders, get up very close to me from behind, lean in, smell my hair, and then plant a slow kiss on the top of my head.
Joe Biden is one of the truly great, decent human beings on the planet.
Considering Stacey Abrams.
I'm sorry, but what Bernie Sanders did to Hillary, you will do to him. I'm giving you guys a fair warning right now. This is my warning flare to Democrats.
I believe that just
what Bernie did to Hillary hurt her, and it ended up helping Trump, and that's what you're doing to Biden right now. I do think Bernie Sanders took major hits out of Hillary Clinton and really damaged her going into the general. And Democrats don't seem to care about that as much as they care about political purity. We're hearing about a lot of Democratic candidates who are meeting with Hillary Clinton for advice, though. So people like Amy Klobuchar. Do you think you'll do the same?
I suspect not.
But you're not interested in any advice from her?
I think not.
Democratic lawmakers are split on whether to vote on a measure denouncing anti-Semitism after freshman Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was accused of using anti-Semitic tropes.
I take this very personally. I would go so far as to say I probably verge on being a Zionist as well. But I will say that I don't have family that is Jewish, but Joe Lieberman and Hadassah Lieberman are my family.
Yeah.
And I take the hate crimes rising in this country incredibly seriously, and I think what's happening in Europe is really scary. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional, but the idea that this is politicized, I'm really not. I was very nervous to talk about this on the show because I thought it would become politicized, and it really shouldn't be. On both sides, it should be called out.
Right.
And just because I don't technically have Jewish family that are blood related to me, it doesn't mean I don't take this as seriously, and it is very dangerous. Very dangerous. And I think we all collectively as Americans on both sides, and what Ilhan Omar is saying is very scary to me, and it's very scary to a lot of people, and I don't think you have to be Jewish to recognize that. Anyone who emails me asking for tips on how to do what I do, I will always email you back. I will always have lunch with you. I will always tell you what I know because nobody helped me that much coming up.
Well, you have to watch what...
I'm a politician's daughter. If I'm a politician's daughter, you do not attack people you're related to no matter what happens.
What do you mean? What if you're related to a murderer? You have to... What are you talking about?
Well, my dad could have murdered somebody in cold blood, and I said it doesn't matter. He didn't do it. That's not how I roll. I accepted the Magnitsky Award in London on behalf of my father. I'm someone who has for a long time been speaking out about Russia. And by the way, let me finish. So did Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney said, then you got no problems. Then he's going to be out of office, and Republicans are just crap, and it doesn't matter. You know, I am a legal gun owner, and gun laws don't have any impact with people who legally go and buy and use guns in a safe way. And I just, as a gun owner and NRA member, we're demonized to such a degree after I won't even, fine, you're not even looking at me. I mean, I hate.
Because I'm thinking of the 60s and 70s and how the Black Panthers and the Weathermen had a lot of guns, and suddenly the NRA put in gun control. It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, look, there's a lot of conservatives out there that agree with him and think that, well, if you just think that we're disgusting, you don't need to look at me that way. I speak for conservatives on this show. I mean, I know what they're thinking. No, but you look like I'm saying something inaccurate.
No,
not you.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah. You're not going to out progressives. If Democrats want a progressive, they're going to go with Elizabeth Warren, or they're going to end up going with Cory Booker, or someone that's so much further to the left.
No, I'm not for pollution, but I will tell you this. I'm not for pie-in-the-sky ideas like the New Green Deal, which is not going to happen. Is pie in the sky is too expensive.
But he doesn't have any
He's
policy.
rolled back so many EPA things.
He has a policy. You just don't like the policy
doesn't
and agree
seem to
with
believe
it.
in the
And by the way,
Now you know what my life is like every day on this show,
I disagree.
man. He's getting screamed at just for being a Republican.
I've said all along, wrong.
Okay, we gotta go, Chris.
I've been
okay, if you want.
We gotta go. Say it.
I've been trying. Thank you so much for coming on. As usual, all Republicans aren't evil, you guys. Bring it in. Quick, we'll be right back.
If you decriminalize, aren't you calling for open borders? And how can you enforce any rules if there are no repercussions for doing something illegal?
Well, there would be repercussions. Somebody is still in the court system. They're still subject to be deported if that's the determination of the court. So it's just the difference between somebody charged with a misdemeanor crime and somebody charged with a civil violation. At the end of the day, they're still in that civil court process, and they may well be deported. So this is not open borders. That's a right-wing talking point.
I don't think it's a right-wing talking point when you're saying that someone who's doing something illegal, that there shouldn't be ramifications.
How can we possibly say that we have open borders when we have 654 miles of fencing, we have thousands of personnel at the border, we have planes, we have boats, we have helicopters, we have guns, we have security cameras. We have states like my home state of Texas that put an extra $800 million into border security. We can maintain a secure border, and people are still subject to the law.
You also believe in free marriage counseling?
Yeah, the data shows that if you grow up in a two-parent household, certain outcomes are more likely. And so from a societal perspective, it makes perfect sense to try and keep couples together if they want to stay together.
So would that just be like a social worker for every couple in America?
Well, it'd be like a marriage counseling, stipend, essentially, where it's like if you decide to seek marriage counseling, then they can just go and get paid by...
My version of marriage counseling is drinking Jack Daniels, shooting some guns, and hanging out. So, like, my version is different than it works. No, just like going to a range. So I'm just saying, like, when I hear the name Tulsi Gabbard, I think of an Assad apologist. I think of someone who comes back to the United States and is spouting propaganda from Syria. You have said that the Syrian President Assad is not the enemy of the United States, yet he's used chemical weapons against his own people 300 times. That was a red line with President Obama. That is not our enemy. 13 million Syrians have been displaced. So when you say regime change is hurtful for the country, but gassing children isn't more hurtful, it's hard for me to understand where you come from a humanitarian standpoint if you were to become president.
Well, you're putting words in my mouth that I've never said.
You did not say that Syrian President Assad is not the enemy of the United States. Say it now, clarify.
The issue here is how can we help alleviate the suffering of people?
Just really one moment. Is he an enemy of the United States?
An enemy of the United States is someone who threatens our safety and our security. There is no disputing the fact that Bashar al-Assad in Syria is a brutal dictator.
Yes, it's inhumane, but there is a big difference between the Hanoi Hilton and what's happening at the border right now.
We should be less concerned about what we're calling them than what is happening inside of them.
But
I gotta tell you, I don't think it matters what we're calling them. Kids are dying inside of them.
Well,
we shouldn't play semantics with what we're calling them. We should care about the dead kids that have come out of them.
Well, my father couldn't lift me above his head as a child because of his torture wounds, so I do think hyperbole is important.
But that was a war, and they were grown-ups.
But part of the problem is there were 10,000 people at Trump's rally in Montoursville, Pennsylvania last night, which, by the way, that population only has 4,770 people.
Also, he imported people for the rally then.
He was,
How did he get 10,000 with a population of 4,000?
I'm sure people drove there.
Oh.
And
maybe bust them in.
Imports.
Fine.
Whoopi is still on the mend. We're hoping she'll be back here soon, maybe next week. We'll see. Hurry back, Whoopi, and get well.
You can never leave me again, ever. You cannot leave this show. We missed you so much.
We are shocked, truthfully.
People come and they're visiting.
Bye, Karen.
And one of the women that comes into the room recognizes this one. But she's not sure.
Yeah.
Were you? It was me. It was these two.
I was like,
and she's like,
we all went to visit you. They weren't
yes,
the only
everybody. No, everybody went to visit, but on this day that she's talking about.
And I think it's dangerous because I know that I've been promised many times before, including on this very show, that we had it, that we did have the smoking gun, and I will still say gun on national television. And thank you very much.
I'm sorry, the reason I didn't say gun was because Steve Scalise was coming on, and I didn't want anybody to misunderstand the joke. That's why I didn't do it, just so we're all clear. Sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead,
if we're
babe.
not allowed to,
No,
we're not allowed.
you're allowed to.
No,
It was
honestly.
just, it was just me trying to, be
Well,
respectful.
yesterday, 2 days ago, there was something brought up about guns that we said, oh, guns again. So, again, I don't know what the line is
I don't know what
today.
happened. But I just know, this was just me trying to be thoughtful. And this is a conversation that's going to probably be happening for a while, so we'll keep you posted.
So I don't get to talk? Just wondering if I can say something?
Well, well, here's the deal.
Well, I just want to make clear.
Hold on, I let everybody know, because you put it out there like that. I let y'all talk, and I said nothing. We have to go to break. If there's more to say, if you want to say more, then we'll come back and say more.
Fine.
Okay.
We used to fight on the air all the time.
What's that like? I don't know.
Very different.
It's a little different, but a little different. But truthfully, we never fought backstage. See, that's the difference.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Well, look.
I also enjoy fighting with you.
I know.
And she enjoys fighting with me. So I just want everyone to stop being so precious about our relationship, because it's almost 2020 and women can debate on TV in a spirited way without it being personal. And I know this is a big shock. We get along backstage. And sometimes I'm like, we only had 8 segments or 8 minutes to talk about something. I want to continue to get your perspective afterward. Let's go get lunch. I love talking about politics. It doesn't mean you have to rip each other's heads off. It just means you have to be mature and respectful. Google me right now. There are articles written over the past few days. What a huge bitch I am, how awful I am, the negativity and nastiness I've brought to this show. It's real. It's not just social media, it's the media as well. And I think sometimes, at least for me, when I read it, I don't suffer from the same mental issues he does, and he's open and candid about his mental health issues, but I think sometimes it's hard when you get into such a dark place, when you just feel like the entire world hates you so much. I think sometimes you just feel like giving up when you're doing the kind of jobs we do, and you have to pull yourself up, and you have to have support around you. But I know what it feels like to be hated in the same way that Pete Davidson does. I'm not asking for sympathy, but I felt extreme compassion for his post when I read it over the weekend. I'm barely offended by anything. Like, it takes so much to offend me. I'm not a snowflake. I can laugh at jokes. But Jeff, I'm not a fan of snowflake PC culture. I'm just not.
Right.
And
a lot of times some of the viewers get offended. So.
Well,
this probably isn't the show for you if you're offended easily.
They have to watch the
Snowflakes! Snowflakes scared of the view? I hate it.
It's ridiculous.
Come on, what are you scared? A bunch of 4 women?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Howard's not scared.
Snowflake.
She doesn't know what a snowflake is.
I didn't know what a snowflake
It's like a scaredy cat.
It's like a, I'm so precious. I'm just a special snowflake. I can't handle anyone that disagrees with me. It's a bad thing.
But
None of us at this table are like that.
No.